Good morning, everybody. I'm Jim Cerny, Vice President of STUG, and you're attending video or online with our meeting on Zoom. And the meeting today is a class discussion about the various Google products or Google apps that are absolutely free. And there's many of them. So we're going to have a class covering very quickly as many of these what we think are useful, important, or fun apps, especially for seniors. There are many Google apps that are really great for organizations and businesses, and we may mention those, but we're not going to delve into them. Of these Google apps, I have a list of the 20 most popular ones that I got from the internet. And they may not apply to us as seniors. There's many of them that are on that list that are top 20 that are good for businesses that may not work for us seniors. So we're going to get started covering very quickly a bunch of Google apps. And we're going to go from about an hour. And there's time for questions anytime during the meeting. Please unmute yourself anytime you wish and ask a question. If I don't see your hand waving or putting a hand up on Zoom, let's see, Drew is the co-host. He will bring my attention to your question. So by all means, ask a question anytime, okay? All right, thank you. We're going to start by letting me give you a little bit overview before I turn on my screen sharing of these various Google things. You need a Google account to use these Google products that are free. Why do you need a Google account and how hard is it to get? Well, Google, if you have a Gmail account, and I think most people do, if you have a Gmail account, you have a Google account, you're ready to go. And most people, even if you don't use Gmail as your primary email address, get a Gmail account by getting a Gmail address. It's nice to have a separate email address for when you go to a store and they want to send you ads and you want to give them an email address. You can give them your second email address. So you should get a Gmail address. It's very easy to get. Another advantage for these Google products is they are available to you any place, anytime. All you need is a device that gets on the internet. In other words, the things that you store on these Google apps, Google Photos, for example, or file that you store, they're on the cloud and they're available to you on any device. So you don't have to be on your particular computer to use these products. When you get a Google account, you get 15 gigabytes free. And I have been using my Google account for years, and I am still less than 10% use of my free space, which is, for me, it's fantastic. It's like everything's free. Why 15 gigabytes? I think that's a reasonable threshold to separate the casual users like me and probably you from those people that are in business or running large organizations and need a lot more space on Google Drive and Google Photos. Of my 10% that is used, I'd say 7% is my Google Photos, my emails, and other files that I store on Google Drive. They're probably just 3 to 4% of my space being used. Okay. So when we go through these items, we're going to mention some of them many of them that I have not used. And I don't think I have a need to use them, but yet they're on our list as being very popular because I did a search on the top 20 and these apps would apply to businesses. They would apply to large organizations, but we want to concentrate the ones that are really good for personal use for single users using them and for photos and seniors. Okay. Another advantage for using Google products is that they work together. That your things that you create on Google Drive, they work with other, like a calendar or contact list. They work with the other Google apps very well. So that's an advantage for using them. I think that's about it. I'm going to go to screen sharing next. If I can do that, we go down here to host tools and share screen. So you should see a flowing brook if this works. Click share screen. Let me try it again here. I thought maybe I am sharing my screen. Hang on. Do you see my screen?
No, you're not.
Not yet, no.
Not yet. Okay. Let me try it again.
The green button at the bottom, and then select your desktop.
Okay, I'm trying to get back on Zoom here. Okay, green button at the bottom. There we go. Share. That's right. Well, I thought it was in host tools. I see it different. Yeah. I would have put it in the host tools, but
No.
here we go. I am screen sharing according to what I saw here.
Yes, you are. We can see your Zoom
Okay.
screen.
There's the brook. You probably just missed a little yellow duck, just went down the brook there. You missed it. I'm sorry. Maybe next month, next class, we'll get that duck back. Okay, so we're going to talk about Google products, and the way I get to any Google product that I want to use is, well, I use Google Chrome, which is a Google app, and I bring up Google Chrome, and I have a tab here for my email. And this is the email that I sent out a reminder for this class. And I'm using up the right side of my screen is being used so I can see your faces on Zoom. All right, so I squinched my window over a little bit, and that's why it looks the way it does. When you're on your Google anything, happens to be email or Gmail, okay? There's these grid of 9 dots, which is Google Apps. And if you click on that grid, you get all the Google apps. And you can just start using them with your Google account. The ones that I use very quickly, I use Google Maps, which also works in my car. I use Google Search, which is on Google Chrome, the web browser. Google Drive, we're going to start with that one today because that encompasses more than one Google app. I use, of course, Gmail, and I use Google Photos, keep track of all my photos. I use Google YouTube for entertainment. It's quite handy and a lot of fun. I use Contacts. All my contacts are in Google Contacts. And then when I use my phone or my iPad and I go to Contacts, that's the contact list that I use. So it's only one contact list that can be used on your iPhone, and I imagine your Android as well, but I'm not sure. Google Meet, Drew is going to talk about that. Google Calendar, I use that. If you have more than one person, you can share a single calendar. So if you put something on the calendar and your spouse or friend or whoever you share the calendar with also put something on the calendar, they're on the calendar in different colors. So you know which ones are yours and which ones are somebody else's. and that comes in very handy. Gemini is fairly new. I don't know a lot about it, but it is the Google AI, artificial intelligence. I've used it once and I was impressed, but when you want to reuse it, I think, I'm not sure, but I believe that they want to charge you a fee for using it. I have to look into that more. But all I'm going to say about it today is that Gemini is the Google equivalent of their AI tool. And there are many more tools. There's Google Docs, Finances, Sheets, Blogger, Books, Slides, Classroom, Google Earth, wonderful app, Google Earth, highly recommended. We may look at that today. Google One, I understand from Drew that is an app to help you manage your Google account. And I'll show you how I look at my Google account. There's Forms and Google Voice, I believe, and there's more from Google. And this is the Google screen. You can do a search. You can find out all kinds of, they have videos there. Don't ever be shy about using a video because, how do I get out of this? Oh, I got to click the X. Hang on a second. Oops. There we go. We'll go back to this. There we are. For any of these products, get out a piece of paper. You're going to jot down those apps that you think are the most fun that you'd like to try. And then after class, you can go to Google and ask, how do I use and name the app? And it will give you videos on how to use it. So that's what we're going to try to cover today. We're going to go fairly quickly. Are there any questions before we start? Get into this. Okay, I'm going to start with Google. Well, let me do my account first. It has some options here. You can subscribe and do payments and provide personal information. One thing I didn't mention yet is that why is Google doing all this for free for you? And Google amasses data. They have, I think they all do it, but Google does it as well. They record data about, well, almost anything that they want, I guess. I have never found it to be stolen or abused by somebody yet. I feel safe using Google. But this is my Google account. You can check your activity. And you have a lot of options with your account. I'm going to go back to the 9 dots. Okay. I think if I go to my account up here, manage my Google account, I can click my picture, manage my Google account here as well. And I think it comes to the same screen eventually. Maybe not. There we go. Okay. Back to the 9 dots. Let's talk about Google Drive. Okay. Google Drive, I'm going to open it. It's a place for you to store your files, any files, on the cloud in Google. All right. It keeps them for you. You can create a new file, or you can upload a file and put it here. Once a file is on Google Drive, it's your file. You can choose to share that file with other people. So you can pick a file and share it and give the email address, the Gmail address of people you want to share it with. If you share it with Google email address, Google account, another person that has another Google account, if you share it with them, you can give them permission to edit the file. And Google will track who is editing it. So you can share a file with several people and have them all have permission to edit it. And Google will track who made what change to the file when. Or you can choose to share a file and not give them permission to edit the file. And I think if you share a file with somebody that does not have a Google account and you share it with somebody via their email address, they will get the file as an attachment that they can open. And they can copy it and they can change it on their own computer, but they can't change your copy that you have on Google Drive.
Right.
Okay. My drive contains the files that belong to me. If I click shared with me, I get the files that are shared with me by somebody else. STUG, oops, wait a minute, there we go. STUG has their own folder that Drew set up for us that we share many things with that pertain to STUG. We share the files. Okay. And you can delete files, they'll go to trash. And here's my storage, 1.3 or 1.4 gigabytes of 15 used for all this stuff. Okay. I'm going to go back to home. The suggested folders that come up on the top are the ones that have been used by me most recently. So these are suggested folders and suggested files, but you can go to anything by viewing more and getting to the files and folders that you want. So that is Google Drive, a great place for you to keep things online, share with other people, and it doesn't take space up on your C drive. If you go to new on Google Drive, you get some Google apps here. You get Google Docs or Google Sheets or Google Slides or Google Forms. What are they? Or more. We won't get into more, although there are more. Okay. Google Docs takes the place of Microsoft Word. If you want to create a document from scratch and you don't have Microsoft Word or don't want to use it, you click Google Docs and you can create your document. You have all the options just like you would in Word. And you can start typing, you can use templates. It's just the menus will be in a little different place, but anything you can do on Word, you can do on Google Docs. Okay, I have to shrink that a little bit so I can see the top. I'm sorry, I'm opening up some things here I want to get out. Okay, that's a new tab. It's my Google account. I don't need that anymore. As you open things in Google Chrome, they open in new tabs. So I get a new tab at the top. So I did a new doc, like Microsoft Word. You can do a new Google Sheet, which is just like Excel. You have all the options. Get that out of there, just like as if you're making an Excel spreadsheet. In fact, our next class, which is May 27th, we're going to talk about spreadsheets because I believe every computer user should be aware of what a spreadsheet can do. I use a spreadsheet for my personal finances and for my investments. Very simple spreadsheets. I'm not doing anything complicated. Can you do complicated things? Yeah, you can do very, very complicated things with a spreadsheet, but we won't go into that. We'll keep it very, very basic. People should know when they see a spreadsheet, it's nothing that has to be complicated, and it can be a very helpful tool. So you can create your own spreadsheets, just like Excel, absolutely free. using Google Drive. Okay. Also on Google Drive, you can do Google Slides, which is the same as Microsoft PowerPoint. It is a presentation tool. And I won't bring it up because I haven't used it, and I don't know if you're doing any presentations, but you certainly can make your presentations free on Google Slides. And Google Forms will help you create a form that you can have people fill out or you can print to use a form. Okay. All these things are free and they're all created on Google Drive for you. You create a new folder and organize your things. You can upload a file to Google Drive, or you can pick a file to download to your computer. Now, very important thing I need to mention is when you create a Google Docs or Google Sheets, or you create anything on Google Drive, you're not using the Word format or the Excel format. You're using Google's format, okay? So it's saved on Google Drive in Google's format. However, when you download it, you can download it into Excel. You can download it into Word. So if you have Word or Excel and somebody else does too, you share a file with them, they can open the file in Excel, even though it's on Google Drive. And if they don't have Excel, well, if they have a Google account, they can open it in Google Sheets. So there's very easy compatibility between files that are you to put on or use or create on Google Drive and using them in Excel or Microsoft Word. Okay. I think that's about what I wanted to cover in Google Drive. Very important. It's the keystone block holding up the arch of Google Apps. Very powerful, very helpful. Are there any questions? Okay, let's go on then.
Jim,
Yeah, go ahead.
when you create the document on Google Drive, is it also in your documents on your computer?
No, you do not. You have to go to Google Drive to get to the document.
Okay.
Now, there is a way that I understand. I don't do it because this is how I get to my Google is I go to the 9 dots. But you can, as I understand, put Google Drive as an item that shows up on your Windows File Explorer. Just like you could have OneDrive over here if you're a OneDrive user. You can do that. I don't know how to do that because I personally want to go to Google Drive myself and work in Google Drive and keep it separate from what is on my computer. But you can have that as an option on your Windows File Explorer, as I understand. Good question. Any other questions? Okay. Let's go back to the 9 dots again. Let's see. YouTube, going to something fun. YouTube I use all the time. It's free. You can pay a subscription to YouTube and you can get more movies and more current events and different shows. But you go to Google YouTube and go into search and you can put in anything you want. You can see some of the things I put in here: classic mystery movies, jail, roller coasters, whatever you want. You can put in a name like, well, let's see. Frank Sinatra, and you can click him and you can get a huge number of videos to watch about Frank Sinatra. You can do this for any person, any star, orchestra, theme park, anything. What you can do, what's really cool about YouTube is if you have a favorite entertainer and you put their name in, and you start looking at through their what videos are available, you can find that they have interviews in Australia or interviews in England that you probably never saw. So it is a great wealth of information for videos. You can watch the cop shows chasing crooks. You can get snippets of movies. You can solve puzzles, pets, animals, people that get disgruntled on airlines, music, any kind of song, piano group, orchestra, band, anything in the past, present. You can get music. You can tour cities. You can do a video tour of where you're going to go on vacation, or go there on a video and then you don't have to go there at all. So YouTube, I use it all the time, every day, and I do certain things that I like to view, and I've never, ever run out of videos to watch. YouTube.
And here's another fun thing that you can do. On YouTube, you can look for videos to learn how to use Google Docs and Google Slides.
Or anything.
So that if you're unfamiliar with how to use a spreadsheet, you can learn how to use Google Docs or Google Slides by looking for training videos right here.
Change air filter on a 2019 Chevy Silverado. Oh, what happened here? I got an ad.
Yeah.
That's a pop-up. We'll get rid of that. Here it is right here. If you have a 2019 Chevy Silverado, you can watch a video of how to change the cabin air filter yourself. You take your car to a car dealer and they do a safety check. We want to check your car, make sure it's safe. They do a safety check and they give you a list. You need all these maintenance things. One of them is the cabin air filter. They want to charge you $100 to change the cabin air filter. You can go to a hardware auto parts store and get an air filter for, I don't know, 20 bucks. They make the air filter for $1. It's just paper, right? And then you watch a video of how to change the air filter. Very easy. But you can do that for anything, how to do anything. Very handy. You can just, and we won't watch that one anymore. Okay, we go back. So that was Google YouTube, very important. Google Photos. Gosh, that's kind of fun. Here are my Google Photos. You get a timeline over here. You can scroll up and down the timeline. And you can click on a photo. And let's see, we can go down to some older ones here. Okay, you can click on a photo and you can play with the photo. You can edit it. These are all on Google Photos. You can make albums. You can share them with other people. You can create a photo album of a trip and share that with other people. Google Photos is excellent for keeping all your photos off of your computer so you don't use your C drive space. Share them with others, organize them, and you can edit them and make them better. You can change the lighting, sky, and so forth. We won't get into that, but Google Photos I've used it for years. I've been very happy with it. I do not go in and do a lot of changing of the photos, but it does allow you to do that. Okay. Let's see. Google Play is an app for games. If you're going to be playing games on your computer and you want to use the Google Play app to do that, feel free to explore that. Google Meet, I'm going to let Drew, if you would talk about Google Meet. If you want to share your screen, Drew, you want me to click on it here?
You can go ahead and click on it there.
Okay,
Essentially, you can close that little down there. Yeah, right there. You can get rid of that. You can do if you're familiar with Zoom, which most of us are to a degree. Google Meet used to be called, I think, Google Duo. And it was originally for doing voice and video chats between Android users. And it has since expanded since the pandemic and Google and people wanted to do more video meetings. Google Meet is an alternative, a free alternative to a degree, to using Zoom. The limitations for you doing a meeting is you can have as many people in the meeting as you want, just like with Zoom. However, instead of the free version of Zoom limits you to a 40-minute meeting unless you have a paid version, and then you can do an unlimited meeting. With Google Meet, the free version gives you a 1 hour meeting, which might be better for your needs. And you can share your screen with other people in the meeting so that you can do the same thing that we're doing right here. It's not an exact replica of Zoom, but it does work. What's nice about it is it does not require a dedicated software program on your computer. It runs in your browser. So you can be on Windows, you could be on a Mac, you could be on a Linux machine. All you need is a browser. You could be on a Chromebook. You can be on your cell phone, whether it be an Android phone or an iPhone. Um, I have a cousin who I did a video call with just last week. And if you have an Android phone, you can send an invitation. And in here, you can, if you click on the new meeting, you
okay,
can, yeah, click on new meeting. And then you can create a meeting for later or start an instant meeting. And if you start an instant meeting, that will put you in a meeting mode, and then you can then invite people to that live meeting. Or you can, like in Zoom, schedule a meeting to take place at a later time. And then the last option just puts it into your calendar. Um, But what I can do, this is what I did with my cousin last week, is on my cell phone. This is it. This is the interface that you see in the browser on your computer. When you have a cell phone, and this can be an iPhone or an Android phone, you can go into your respective app store and load the Google Meet program. And if, as Jim had mentioned earlier, you also have a Gmail account, when you install the Google Meet app on your phone, on Android, your phone is already logged into a Gmail account, so Google Meet is going to know how to set itself up, and it will ask for access to your contacts, and it will scroll through your contacts on your phone, and if it already has access to your Google contacts, and what it does with that is, let's say Jim installed Google Meet on his phone. And I installed Google Meet on my phone, and I have Jim in my contacts, and Jim has me in his contacts. Google Meet, when you sign up for it, you linking your cell phone number to the account, and you have your cell phone number is linked to your Gmail account anyway. Um, and so what it does is when Jim logs into Google Meet for the first time on his phone, it will give him a list of all of the people that are in his contacts on his phone, and identify them as people who are also subscribed to use Google Meet. And at that point, all he has to do is click on a little button of a camera and initiate an instant video meeting with that particular person. When I go through my contacts on my cell phone, if I look at a person's individual item and they're not on Google Meet, I will only have the option to voice call them through my cell phone. If they're on Google Meet and I'm on Google Meet, and I think Jim and I both are, if I were to go into my cell phone right now and click on Jim's contact, because I think we experimented with this once before.
I don't recall, but go ahead if you wish.
There are two buttons, one for voice and one for video, just like you would have if you were on an iPhone platform. If you could choose to use voice or video. And on video on the Apple platform, it is FaceTime. It's called FaceTime. On Google, it's called Meet. And what's nice about Meet that in my opinion is better than FaceTime is iPhones only. It's kind of exclusive for iPhone users. Google Meet works between an Android user and an Android user, an Android user and an iPhone user, two iPhone users, or you can have 100 people on there. And they have on their website, and I'm sorry, I apologize, I don't know the pricing. They do have premium plans for Google Meet, so that's less expensive than Zoom. So if you have a user group, or a bicycling group or a knitting group or whatever, and you would like to have online meetings and you don't want to pay the 150, 60, $70 a month for Zoom, this is more affordable. And all you need is your browser. You don't have to worry about installing the Zoom app. You don't have to worry about keeping it up to date. As long as your browser is up to date, you're ready to go.
Okay, Drew, what's the difference? We're on meetings right now. What if I click calls? Is that just a regular phone call then?
Click on it. This is going to this is how you would use Google Meet to call me and make a video call. The first option, which you clicked on, which was meetings, is setting up a meeting like you would in Zoom. Okay, you set up a new meeting and you'll have the option to do everything you do in Zoom. Say that you can say, I want the meeting to be on Saturday at 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. and it will generate a link that you can email to everybody. Calls are impromptu calls to other people that are on Google Meet. Yeah, and here it says Duo has been upgraded to Meet. There used to be a program called Google Duo. All your video calling and features. So this is how Jim, if he wanted to make a video call with me, would go in and he could click on Start a Call and then start a new video call. And if he were to follow through this, it would eventually ask him who he wanted to call. And he could pick out through his contacts all of the people that are on Google Meet. If he has a contact, let's say Ann is in his contacts, but she's not on Google Meet, it will tell Jim that she's not on Google Meet, and it will ask him if he would like to send a meeting link to Ann. And then Ann would receive in her inbox a link, just like we used to get onto this meeting in Zoom. And she would click on that link. It would open up her Safari web browser, and she could join the meeting. Check the phone number and email and try again. Oh, put in dking65. .333 at gmail.com and see if that rings my phone. Yep, it's going to want to grab your camera, so I wouldn't go through and do this.
Okay, I'll X out. Thank you.
But that's how you use it. Oops, you're gonna X out of these little boxes here.
I'm trying.
Yeah, yeah. So that's how, if you were on your computer, the calls option is how you would initiate a video call with one other person. And then you can also create a group call. Now, the difference between an individual call and a group call is the group call is limited to 60 minutes and a one-on-one call is unlimited time. So just like with FaceTime on your phone, if you video call with another person on their cell phone, you can talk to them for an unlimited amount of time on Google Meet. There's no time limitation and there's no fee.
Okay. Thank you, Drew. I've never used Google Meet. It sounds fascinating, and especially one-on-one calls that is not on an iPhone, that will work on other devices.
Yeah, and even here's an even interesting thing is I mentioned that you can share your screen. I have my cousin who's on an iPhone. I sent him a meeting invitation link as an SMS text message, and he clicked on it. It opened up in his browser. We went into the meeting, and he was able to share with me his phone screen. And then he opened up his photos and showed me all of his grandchildren. And I thought that was kind of neat.
Yeah.
How do you share? Where's the
Well,
share?
Well, when you're in Zoom, like we are in this call, at the bottom of the bar, there's a
Uh-huh.
green icon that says share, and
Uh-huh.
that's how you would share your screen here. And when you go into Google Meet, after you're already in the call, there will be a button on the bottom that allows you to share your screen.
Okay. Okay.
And
Now to recap on this meeting part, I'm interested in this. The credit you have to sign up for Google and there's a cost for that, right?
well, the basic Google account is free. The 15 gigabyte free account that Jim had mentioned earlier allows you to do all of this.
Okay. 15 gigabyte. And
The only
15 gig.
reason the only reason that there would ever be a fee is if you wanted to hold a large group meeting with two or more people for more than an hour.
Okay, I got you.
Okay, we need to move on. There's so much more to cover. We only have 15 minutes left. So I'd like to jump to Google Earth, which is really, really fun.
Can he put the links in the chat so we can get it? The links for the Google Meet there.
It's right in that
Everything
menu
is
there.
here.
It's right in that menu, right there.
There's Google Meet right there. You just click on the 9 dots. Maybe you missed that. This is where I start with the 9 dots, and these are all the Google apps. Now you could make an icon of a Google app and put it on your desktop.
Now, if you want to bookmark it, there is a website directly called meet.google.com, meet.google.com, and that will take you directly to the meeting site if you want to create a separate bookmark for that.
Okay. Let's get to one of my favorites, which is Google Earth. I have it as an icon on my desktop, I think, but I'll go through it this way. Google takes, no, thank you. Get started. Oh, that's projects. I don't want projects. Click Explore Earth. Okay, you get the Earth on your computer, the whole planet. You can rotate it by dragging it. You can go to any place on the planet, and you can start zooming in. Shall we go to Florida?
Oh wow, you can tilt it and rotate
There we
it.
go. You could drag,
Mhm.
you can keep zooming in. So let's say we want to zoom in on downtown Sarasota. This is any place on earth, any city, you can keep zooming in. There's the airport, Sarasota Airport. Here's the John Ringling Museum. Okay. How far can we zoom in? Well, let's take a look. Boy, if you were a golfer, you could go down the golf holes. And I think we're in the 3D mode. Now you could take this little guy right here. You could take him and drag him and put him on any blue line. Because that's the street that was used by the Google photography truck, right? And we'll put him right there. And it's like you're standing right there. You can zoom up or down. I'm sorry, you can pan up or down, left and right. Oops, sorry, I'm moving you around here. And that's the Ringling Museum. And you can zoom in here too. So you can almost, well, you can in many cases, read the signs and zoom out. So that real quick is Google Earth. Anywhere on the planet belongs to you. You can explore any city. You can fly into canyons. And I think it works with Google Maps as well. That's 2D and that's 3D. You can rotate it. Okay, Google Earth, make a note of it, learn how to use it. It works on iPads, touch screens with a mouse on your computer. Very, very cool app, Google Earth. Okay, another one is Google Maps. My phone is paired with my car. So not only do I get the maps tool that comes with the car, but I touch a button and it goes to using my iPhone instead of the car's computer. And on my iPhone, I can use Google Maps. You can put in a search. When do you see locations? And you can find out all the locations, go to it, get directions, zoom in or out. And here again, I think you can browse Street View images. We can zoom in. And we can drag this guy and drop him on the road. And we get the street view as if we're right on that road. I think they have to blur some things out for personality. They can't show people. I don't know why. You're on a public street, but Google chooses to ghost out some things.
Jim,
And, yeah,
with the blurring, you can ask, and there's a way to do it. I have not done it, but I've seen some videos on how to. You can ask them to blur your house, for instance, and
Oh, I
it
see.
will do that. So that's what somebody's done there.
okay. Let's see if I right click on it, left click on it. No, it just moves it. Okay. All right, that's Google Maps. Very helpful.
Is that what they use? It seems like that's what they use to find an address like I had was getting an estimate on my roof, and they knew how to find my house and give me the estimate without coming here. Is that what
Yes.
that's probably what they use?
They do. They use Google Earth and Google Maps. They can calculate the square footage of your driveway or your roof or your lanai screen.
Wow.
They can do it all. It's amazing. They can do the square footage of your house. Because I'm sure contractors have way of merging, getting information from Google Maps, Google Earth, and the county information about property. So I'm sure they can get a lot of information. Google Translate, I have not used that, but I hear that it's fantastic. You can translate from any language into any other language. Google Calendar, as I mentioned, you can share your calendar. Each person can have their own calendar, and you can share a calendar. And you can see what the other person is doing.
But you can only share it with people that have
A Google Calendar.
iPhone. I mean, I can't share it with an Android user.
I don't know.
You
Drew?
can in the Apple App Store should be the Google Calendar app. You already have the Google email account on your Android on your iPhone?
Yes.
Right. There should be in that same app store a calendar app.
Does that work on Android? I think she's asking.
Oh, it's on both. Well, it comes with Android by default.
Okay.
But can I get an Android person who has an Android, is what I'm saying. Can I get his calendar, or can I give, say my daughter who has an Android, she
Oh,
can't see anything.
well, as a Gmail user,
Mhm.
as two Gmail users, he can share his calendar with you.
Even
It
on
doesn't
your
matter whether
iPhone.
you're on an iPhone or an Android phone, but you can share your calendar with anybody.
Okay.
I have an iPad and I share my calendar with my Android phone and my desktop with no problem at all.
And that's a Google Calendar, right, Huey?
That's correct.
Okay, good. Thank you. Very helpful. I'm going to send a list of the top 20 Google apps to everybody after the meeting. There are many on this list that we have not covered because they seem to be more suited for business or large organizations, not for individuals or seniors. Let's see what else we have here. I am using Google Chrome, by the way, as for getting my email on my Gmail. I open Google Chrome. I have a tab for it, and I have a tab for STUG and a tab for my solitaire games. And then I have a tab for a new tab for anything. And I use Google Chrome. You can make tabs for the permanent tabs that are pinned to your tab list up here. They stay there all the time. So every time I open Google Chrome, these 4 tabs are there all the time. And then you just get a new tab by clicking on the plus. And the tabs will remain there for that session. Once you X out of Google Chrome, the tabs will go away. They'll be in your history, I believe, your previous tabs, but they will be gone the next time you bring the window up unless you have pinned them to this area. And of course, bookmarks. Every web browser has bookmarks or favorites. And if you click on them, oops, let's see. Let me go to this one here. Yeah. Bookmarks and lists. you can organize your bookmarks into folders, just like you organize files into folders. So you can have like a news folder, and I have all these web pages in this folder. So I don't have to enter the web address. I find that using bookmarks is a lot easier for me than to keep permanent tabs at the top. Some people like to have tabs all the way across the top of their browser. I don't. I prefer using bookmarks, but that's just me. And if you come down here, these are the other bookmarks that are not in a folder. So here are the STUG websites. I got 2 news. I got all these. And you can add any favorites you want to your folders by clicking on the star that will bookmark or add to your favorites.
But
Very
how do you
powerful.
get it in, how do you get it in when you add them to one of the folders you made?
Well, if you go to a website, and we'll conclude with, that's a good question. I'd like to conclude with that question, if I may. If you go to a website, Macy's Furniture, Macy's Department Store. I guess we're using the internet a lot with Zoom and everything.
I think you clicked an ad.
It could be.
Go back one.
Let me X out of this. Okay, here's
There you go.
Macy's.com. So we'll click on that one, go to Macy's.com. And here we are at Macy's. Now, if I want to make this a bookmark or a favorite, I just click the star. It says bookmark this tab. Click. And then I can pick the folder. So I can click here and pick the folder that I want. Do I have a shopping folder? Choose another folder. I think I have a shopping one. Yeah, shopping
right
and
there.
travel, right there. And then I click save.
Oh,
And that's all there is to it. Couldn't be easier.
that is better because if you bookmark them up where you have them in the startup, doesn't that take up a lot of your gigabytes or some kind of thing when
Bookmarks
you're
don't,
starting up?
no, bookmarks don't, oh, you mean if it's a tab? Yeah, that could take a little few seconds to load because when they're active tabs at the top, I only have 3 pinned permanent tabs, which doesn't take any time at all. But if you have like 20,000 tabs up here and you open your browser and you want those tabs to be there every time, that's going to take a while because it has to do a touch on each one of those addresses to
I
make
got
it
you.
work. But here, if I go to the bookmarks and lists, and I go to shopping and travel, there is Macy's, and I can move it. I can drag it and put it anywhere I want. LM, we'll put it right there, put it in alphabetical order, put it where I want. Okay? Very powerful, very helpful. Yeah,
Now,
Drew?
before you close that window, move your mouse a little bit to the left. And
Let's start over. What do you want, Drew? The
click there.
bookmarks, yeah?
Then click on bookmark and lists.
Yeah?
And then click on show bookmark bar. You have that turned off right now.
I know, I do. All right, I'll turn it on. Here we go.
And now you click there and you can see all your bookmarks.
Yeah, but it takes up space. You have a bar space now.
Yeah, there's a plus and a minus to it.
Yeah, there is.
I
Yeah.
see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
find
you
that Google automatically sticks some of those pins when I open up my Google Chrome. They automatically stick some the places I've been to
Yeah.
right underneath.
Yes, you can unpin them. Okay, we're 2 minutes over our time. Thank you very much, everybody, for your
Thank you.
questions. We're signing off. This is a class from STUG, the Sarasota Technical Users Group. And it's a class for members. If you want to become a member, go to the STUG website, the STUG, THESTUG.org. And you can find out about us and how to become a member. Thank you all very much for attending, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you.
Thank you.